joins us now live from the White House with more. Frank, good to speak to you. I understand you've got two election officials there with you. Take it away.
Yes, well, you know, here we are a year after Mr. Trump's stunning victory and vaulting into the White House, and now we also have a major defeats for a lot of candidates that supported Mr. Trump during his candidacy, and this is all raising questions within the GOP and also among voters. Now, to look at that question, we are joined now by Micah Mosbacher. She is a Republican strategist, and also we are joined by Bassima Alghussein. She was an advisor with the Trump, not the Trump administration, rather the Obama administration. Thank you, ladies, for joining us here on TRT World. So what do you think? Where does Mr. Trump stand with the voters, and what's the party looking at it like?
The party and the base have not wavered. Once a Trump supporter is always a Trump supporter. I want to call your attention to the races last night. We did not expect to win in Virginia. It was a purple state, but it's been primarily Democratic. And Ed Gillespie is primarily an establishment candidate. He was linked to George Bush. George Bush fundraised for him, and he absolutely was not a populist candidate or an outsider like Trump. He sort of was a faux Trump, if you will be, and he wasn't authentic. So we did not expect him to win, but what I am looking at is the record fundraising in the Republican Party. Over $100,000 in the last year alone, and more small donor donations than I've ever seen in my lifetime.
So what I think you're seeing here is the classic move of Trump distancing himself whenever there's a major defeat. And so in Virginia yesterday, the Democrats picked up over 13 state House seats, which is the most seats that they've picked up in over 100 years in the state. They not only elected a Democratic governor, but they also have an African-American as lieutenant governor, which is particularly significant considering just a few months ago we were all shook by the race riots happening in Charlottesville.
Well, the Democrats are certainly entitled to a temporary victory lap, but I still feel very strongly, due to the robust economy in this country and the fact that we're now looking at potentially 3% sustained growth, and we're seeing 1.5 million corporate jobs that have been created over the last several months. We're seeing a restoration in consumer confidence in this country, and I think that that momentum will carry over into 2016. I think we're in good shape.
Have no doubt that this is a referendum on the Trump administration, and I think that they're only going to continue to suffer as they pursue this aggressive tax plan that is only going to harm the middle class. Why are we offering huge tax breaks to people who inherit over $5 million, and yet we're not allowing teachers to write off school supplies that they purchase for students in their classroom? That makes no sense.
That's a skewed perspective of the tax cuts. First of all Americans benefit from a corporate tax cut. We have the largest tax rate in history. We are looking at possibly a 15% tax cut, which would help the middle class. It will help all Americans, not just Democrats. All Americans will benefit from a tax cut.
Let's look at how we can help the middle class the most directly, and by decreasing access to important services like health care, and by decreasing the mortgage home loan deduction for first-time home buyers. How is that helping the middle class?
It absolutely helps the middle class. First of all, Trump has signed an executive order which would help increase competition. We would be able to go across state lines in determining what health care policy we want. I want an a la carte plan that will help me. I'm having to pay for maternity care, which at my age is ridiculous. So I think that opening up competitive markets in health care, and also, again, focusing on tax reform. And let's face it, all Americans are overburdened with this rigorous tax reform process, the tax process. You can put tax code on a stack of King James Bibles. Trump is looking at a simple flat tax, a tax that you could fill out on a New York
Trump
minute.
is looking at a simple flat tax that favors the wealthy. And again, as he pursues this, first of all, it might get past the House. It's not going to pass the Senate. And we're going to see another major legislative fail on the part of the Trump administration, and a failure to uphold his promises to the American people.
He has upheld his promises to the American people. And I mean, number one is look at his Supreme Court pick in Neil Gorsuch. Secondly, he's tightened on immigration. He has an executive order in place that will help build a wall. Yes, it needs funding. Yes, the do-nothing Congress has let him down, and I will say it's do or die right now for our Congress in the U.S.
Ladies, thank you very much. That'll do it for now. Micah Mosbacher, Republican strategist, and we have Bassima Alghussein, who was an advisor to the Obama administration. Thank you for joining us here on TRT World. Reporting from Washington, Frank Ucciardo, back to you in the studio.
Thank you so much, Frank.